hosted by Patricia Conlin and brought to you by Avis and Budget. Please note that you've been placed on mute for the duration of this webinar and that you may ask questions during the Q&A session using the Ask Question function in your GoToWebinar dashboard. Just a little bit about today's sponsor, Avis and Budget. CPSA members who are on the line can enjoy a special negotiated rate for business when renting with either Avis or Budget. Plus, some great leisure rates are also available when it's time for that well-deserved vacation. Enroll today with a complimentary membership in Avis Preferred or Budget Fast Break to save time by skipping the counter, paperwork, and going straight to your car, as well as gain access to exclusive offers. In addition, Aeroplan members can earn Aeroplan miles at participating Avis or Budget locations worldwide. Air Miles collectors can get Air Miles reward miles at participating Budget locations in Canada and the U.S. Be sure to download the Avis app for an even simpler experience. With the app, you can make updates to your reservation, choose your car at pickup, find gas stations nearby, and so much more. See avis.ca/CPSA or budget.ca/CPSA for more details. Hosting today's webinar is Patricia Conlin. Patricia is a successful talent solutions firm owner with over 25 years of sales success, international speaker, author, and coach for sales and business professionals. She's a high-energy, engaging, and inspirational speaker and brings new content and tips to sales professionals to help increase performance and create success in both their work and personal lives. She's the author of ABCs of Food, Boost Your Energy, Confidence, and Success with the Power of Nutrition, and is currently writing her second book on resilience. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to hand it over to Patricia to start.
Oh, thanks very much, Rupalyn. That was a great introduction. Thanks so much for inviting me to do this webinar. I'm really honored, and I know there's exceptional content and training at CPSA, so I'm really excited for this session. So let's get ready, everyone. If you have a pen and paper, I like to have interactive sessions so we can reinforce our learning. So grab a pen and paper or write in your computer, anything that lets you visualize some of the tips that we're going to go through today, everyone. And we have a ton to cover. I'm going to try to get it all in and hopefully some great takeaways for you guys. So let's get started. Our agenda for today, we're going to do just a little bit of a self-review. What's the sales professional lifestyle? What are some of the things that stress us out as sales professionals? Cause energy leaks, and how can we revitalize ourselves for more success? So we're going to give you energy boosting tips, help to boost your confidence. Then we're going to talk about stress. Stress can really impact our success as sales professionals. I'm going to give you some amazing stress busting techniques that work, and then we're going to go over this attraction marketing model, a way to get clients to come to you so you're not draining your energy with that predator-prey model, hunting down new clients all the time. And we're going to touch on emotional intelligence and some of the ways we can work with that tool by managing our emotions to re-energize ourselves and build better relationships. So that is a ton for one session. So just to start, this is maybe a funny slide, but typical sales professional doing a million things at once, maybe drinking a lot of caffeine and coffee to get energized throughout the day and mounds of work and admin. So I'm sure we all feel like that sometimes. And, the stereotypical sales professional personalities, a little bit of that type A, and I do tend towards that myself, competitive, aggressive, work obsessed, and impatient. And we think that these traits help us survive in an ultra competitive industry with constant deadlines and uncertainty, but they're actually also linked to health issues, including hypertension, heart disease, and stress related burnout and diabetes. Yikes. So when we're feeling all this stress, it reduces our energy, which is a huge factor in our success. So we're going to talk about that in some detail. So here's the successful sales professional. High energy for production. That's what we need. I mean, typically, in order to bring in new business, it takes, on average, according to research, 8 to 12 touches. That is a high energy type of role. We need to exercise regularly to build confidence. We need to be resilient. We get more rejection than other areas, other people. And because of that, we often tend to be more successful. People don't necessarily like rejection. So when you can learn to manage that, you can be far more successful. And this successful sales professional also has phenomenal communication with their clients. And this is so powerful. Emotional intelligence, which is linked with all our soft skills, really is one of the most important factors in success. And then we attract better clients. We create this incredible value proposition with our worker company, and we have better clients. So that's a lot of what we're going to cover. I'm going to give you practical tips, bigger picture tips as well. First off, as an exercise, just for maybe 20 seconds, this is a lot to cover. Think of some of the things in your life, in your work, that drain your energy. Difficult people to deal with, constant rejection, too much work, too little work. Just think about that. And we're going to plug those leaks today, because energy is defined as capacity to work. Now, make a note of that. Energy equals capacity to work. Without our energy, we're not going to be able to be as successful as we want to be. So here's some of the things we're going to cover today in some detail. So first of all, I just want to talk about nutrition a little tiny bit. As a registered holistic nutritionist, I can't help but give you a few tips here, high-level tips, because certainly without that energy from what we eat, we're not going to be able to go and be as successful as we want. I remember coaching a sales professional. He was very frustrated. He hadn't received the promotion he wanted. He'd put on a lot of weight and wasn't exercising, and he was irritable at work. He felt he deserved the promotion, but he was working long hours and wasn't getting enough done. So, quick story. I went through the whole analysis of his lifestyle first, and we realized he was drinking over 10 cups of coffee a day. And that alone, the caffeine was creating a lot of irritability. He wasn't sleeping. So it was that one bad habit affected his life. We cut down the caffeine and we changed some of his work-related approaches. And within 6 months, he'd lost weight. He was sleeping better. He received a promotion. So I just wanted to reinforce that simple things can make a huge impact on your life. And I say this as a caffeine lover, so I'm going to give you some tips. And nutrition, good nutrition can help prevent so many diseases, and it's not complicated. So here's a couple of quick tips to boost your production. Hydrate. About so many of us, more than half of the population is not getting enough fluid in our diet, 6 to 8 glasses a day. And even a 2% drop in hydration can dramatically affect your performance. So make sure you get enough fluid in your day. Get up, stretch, walk to that water cooler and get some fluid. And then also make sure you eat high quality fruit and vegetables. I'm really not fussy whether a person is omnivore, vegetarian, anything, as long as you get lots of antioxidants in your diet. Small amounts of protein with meals, especially in the morning, help to regulate your blood sugars so you don't get energy crashes associated with sugary foods. High antioxidant foods like fruit and vegetables give us the vitamins and minerals we need to function at our peak. And healthy fats like omega-3 fatty acids like fish, flax, walnuts, and eggs boost our brain function, and a lot of us do not get enough. Just remember, your brain is about 60% omega-3 fatty acids. It needs those healthy fats. So aim to go around the grocery store and get those foods, whole foods, and incorporate simple things like sprouts in your diet. They're a powerhouse of nutrition. If anyone's interested in other power foods, you can contact me at Tish at tishconlin.com, and I'll give you my top 50 suggestions. The other thing is take breaks. Really, we only have about a 60 to 90 minute battery as human beings, depending on us individually. After a focus session, you want to have an energy recharging break, whether it's a quick stretch, going to the water cooler, sharing a laugh with a colleague. This really helps to re-energize you so you can focus on the next thing. And I'm a really big believer in terms of saving your energy, not scattering it. Focus on one task at a time. That means when you're doing business calls, do all the calls at once. When you're doing emails, do all the emails at once. Our brain is actually programmed for this more than multitasking, and more research shows. So that helps to avoid energy leaks as well. And following your passion. If you love, you're a natural born hunter and you love getting in the business, try to talk to your boss, or if you're your own, if you're an entrepreneur, focus on business development, outsource some of the more administrative side of things. If you have a role that's fixed, then focus on your passion outside of work, whatever it is. Try to do some more of the things that you feel you don't have time for, and you bring that energy back into the office. It's amazing how it will impact your success. So next I want to talk about movement, because it creates confidence, and also talk about mental movement as well. Moving from that fixed kind of fearful mindset, afraid to take a risk, to more of the growth mindset, where we're learning and growing all the time. And this is very attractive to new clients as well. And you get more energy when you're trying new things. So first of all, a lot of us, and I've coached a lot of professionals and sales professionals, and people tell me consistently, I just don't have time, Tish. I don't have time to exercise. This is happening. I'm out of control. I'm on the treadmill. I get it. I run a business myself. So even when you feel you have so many to-dos, and you just can't get off that treadmill, you've got to incorporate movement into your world and get a little bit of an exercise lifestyle going. About 80% of us don't exercise enough, and this is a quick win for you, just to get a little more movement. I'm going to show you how to get 2 minutes of movement in each day. That's going to help quite a bit. Exercise boosts your energy, your confidence, and actually improves your memory and slows down and prevents all diseases. It's amazing. If you can get exercise in the form of cardio, it's incredibly good for your heart, stretching as well, and strength. So there's a lot of us really are not built as human beings to be sedentary. And they're saying that these sedentary lifestyles are actually as bad as smoking. I don't know if anyone's heard that, for all metabolic diseases. So all you really need to do to solve that is stand up at work about every 20 minutes, do some desk exercises, get some movement in your day, and this is going to boost your confidence when you're dealing with clients. An amazing fact about success and about the whole of dealing with clients is what is most attractive to people is your energy. So energy is huge. Even Tony Robbins in all of his training session talks about the most incredible thing about communication is 55%, a whopping 55% of everything you communicate, the most powerful thing is your energy. So if you have good energy, you are already on your way to success. Everything else, your words, your gestures, is so much less impactful. So let's really work on energy. So just getting a little bit more exercise in your day is huge. Some people have these stand-up desks now. I don't, but there's all sorts of things you can do to get more exercise in your day. And I'm going to give you some quick tips. Some of the things you can do is exercise in the morning. That'll boost your metabolism, burn fat, increase your confidence, and energize you for the rest of the day. You can swim on your lunch hour. Put it right in your calendar, or you have a tendency not to do it. I swim twice a week with one of my staff, and we don't schedule anything else. And I get a lot of requests. But if it's in there, you're more inclined to do it. And of course, stop exercising at least 2 hours before you go to bed, because it activates a mechanism in your brain that keeps you alert. You can even take the stairs at work. I do that myself. Even walking at a brisk pace for 3 or more hours a week. And now this is not much, guys. It reduces the risk of coronary heart disease by 68%. So when studies show people who exercise outside in fresh air feel less fatigued and more invigorated. So get outside in your lunch hours. It's beautiful out in the summer. Walk to a park, or you can do desk exercises. If anyone subscribes to my site, tishconlin.com, TISHCONLIN.com, I can send you a handout for desk exercises, or you can contact me at tish@tishconlin.com. So how do you get motivated to achieve goals, whether it's bringing in a new client or an exercise goal to get more energy, or a goal to lose weight because you just want to feel better? First of all, believe you can do it. A lot of people just don't believe they can do it. So start with your belief systems. Second, put those goals on paper. I'm a big believer on writing things down. Right now, whoever has a pen and paper, write down one goal you have and you want to achieve it this summer. What's one thing? Can be anything. Can be a business success, financial success, improving a relationship with a family or a colleague or a client. Could be losing weight, could be anything. Write it down right now from whatever pops in your mind. And this is what we're going to tackle. Good. So we want to get out of our comfort zone as well. Get in that mindset where I always like to say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And eventually what is uncomfortable is the norm. I remember when I first started doing webinars years ago, it was highly stressful, and now I do them all the time. And I love them. And so different things that you think might help with your learning, develop this mindset where you're learning from failure instead of letting it defeat you. And of course, reward your success. A great quote is, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated." And that's Maya Angelou. And as a lover of German literature, I like this quote: "Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Wishing is not enough, we must do." And that's Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. So, people say to me all the time, "I just don't have the confidence. I want to get that big client, that big dog, but I just don't know how to do it." And, there's a lot of our life experiences we can bring to build confidence if we focus on the right things and celebrate our strengths. We all have strengths. We have areas where we need to grow, and that makes us human. But building confidence, even as simple as a smile, it takes more muscles to smile, and it actually creates positive energy. Look in the mirror, even if you've had a really discouraging day, and smile, and it really helps to convert your mood. Some people do those big postures before a call, holding for a minute, Superman, Superwoman, even holding your arms up high, sort of that victory that you see in the picture can really help to create confidence. Of course, exercising, it just creates those chemicals pulsing through our body, positive endorphins, which really help us generate confidence. A lot of audiences I speak to, highly successful people, are just not moving. I come back in 6 months to do another session on a different topic. They've all incorporated a bit more movement and are absolutely thrilled. So spruce up, dress up. There's a lot of casual work days at work, but if you're feeling like you need your confidence boosted, dress up for work. And also practice. If you have a key presentation, don't leave it to the last minute. And I really want you to celebrate your strengths and affirm what's good every day, even if you're in one of those sales ruts that we all go through where it seems like nothing's working out. Get that grateful mindset, and it'll help you get out faster to get more success. I've been $1 million biller in my business as a recruiter multiple times, and it's because I use all these training as a black belt martial artist, the focus I've learned, positive affirmations, and working to transition out of negative ruts faster with my emotional intelligence training. So it does work, and I'd love to pass this along. So remember, confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. And this is really important. So here's the reference to those desk exercises I was mentioning. I won't do any today, but we just don't have time. But, you can just stretch your calves, stretch your shoulders every day, extend both legs. There's a ton of desk exercises, and it's really easy to do in your office, even if you're in an open concept office. So feel free to subscribe to my site and you can get a copy of some. So let's talk about stress now and how we can overcome it, because it is a huge issue out there in the world. Paxil and Zoloft, some of the best-selling anti-depression, anti-anxiety medications, have been top sellers for decades. So it's really a very large issue in the workplace. And stress-related visits to the doctors, they say, are accounting for over 75% of the visits. So really, as a sales professional, it's a huge thing. And I have some great tips that will help you mitigate this. So stress causes fatigue, weight gain, insomnia. It depresses our immune system and other issues. And if you find you're always tired, can't lose weight, or you can't sleep well, you might be suffering from stress-related symptoms. So first step is awareness. And then second is take action. So, we do have higher stress as sales professionals, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong in the sales cycle. That's normal. So I want you to think of what stresses you out the most. Write it down right now or think about it. And this is what we're going to tackle with some of our tips to avoid letting that stress get you. Because remember, we need some stress in our lives to be successful, but too much can really devastate our performance. So here's a chart. You see the positive region on the right. There's an optimal amount of stress. You want to get up with a little bit of a challenge in your life every day, but if it's too much, our performance plummets. So about 1 in 5 have been diagnosed with some sort of stress-related disorder and are medicated. So it's something we really need to discuss. We want to lower our stress, maximize our focus, improve our relationships, and that's going to supercharge our performance and success. When stress hits us, there's 2 ways of responding, and I go into great detail on this on my performance coach on my training site for sales professionals. There's a wellness response, and there's a response that is not a wellness response. So you can reach for the things, do the things that make stress worse or better. I think it's vital. So a lot of people go through that course, and it's amazing how you can respond better. So our greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. And that's Bruce Lee, who I, obviously as a martial artist, he has some great quotes as well. So here's some ways to manage stress as a sales professional. Now, I've alluded to this, but I really do mean it. And again, I love coffee. I get up every morning. First thing I do is I have my coffee black. I grind my own beans. It's like, don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee. So I love coffee. Caffeine in moderation is actually quite good for you. It has a lot of antioxidants. They say it actually helps to reduce potential for Alzheimer's even. So it can neutralize free radicals in your body. But too much can wreak havoc, and it can stay in your body for up to 12 hours. So I generally switch from caffeine to either green tea or herbal tea in the afternoon. Sugar is the enemy of nutrition. Sugar consumption has soared in the last decades, and there's a very interesting correlation between sugar and cancer. In fact, cancer cells have more insulin receptors. They thrive on sugar, and so starving them of sugar actually kills them. And there's a lot of amazing evidence about the ketogenic diet, which is a fat-based diet, to help with that. It's very exciting. So ditch the stimulants if you're under stress, reduce them. Instead, reach for calming foods that have magnesium in them. Magnesium is a mineral. And again, if you're taking vitamins and minerals, you take vitamins in the morning, they're energizing, and minerals at night because they're calming. About 68%, that's a huge number, of the population is deficient in magnesium. The number of people who who have been helped just by supplementing with magnesium is huge. And there's many doctors. There's a book called The Miracle of Magnesium written by a medical doctor about this. Magnesium is important for over 200 biochemical functions in our body, and a lot of people don't get enough. So reach for nuts and seeds and leafy greens, even dark chocolate. It has a lot of magnesium if you're stressed out. And of course, get more sleep. Getting more sleep in itself, I have a great handout on tips to get more sleep if anyone wants to reach out to me as well and they suffer, because it's hard to have energy if you are incredibly exhausted each day. So start small, and I've got lots of tips for that. So second thing, people talk about thinking positive and it's like, oh, whatever. But really, it's a training yourself, even when things are going crappy or a deal has fallen apart, to think about the positive or what has been learned. Takes a lot of self-discipline to do this, and eventually you find that you get out of some of those negative cycles faster. We all have these negative thoughts. About 70%, they say, according to research, of all our thoughts are so-called garbage thoughts. So when we kind of talk back to those negative thoughts or think positive, we can actually achieve far more success and reduce our stress. For managers, give more praise. 89% of employees prefer to be told what they're doing right rather than what they're doing wrong, which is really the norm for feedback. So take a moment to give positive feedback, and it has a 94% greater impact on performance. And then try laughing more. Laughing is, they say laughter is the best medicine, really helps, particularly when under stress. Try mindfulness, meditation. In fact, let's do this all together. One deep breath can really reduce stress. You can do this for 10 seconds or 10 deep breaths if there's a really stressful situation. Try it now for the next few seconds on your own. You can just see how that relaxes you, just getting more oxygen. A lot of people don't breathe deeply enough. That's something. So take a break, walk, do a 10-second body shake, just stand up. You can journal. And of course, I have whole sessions on teaching people how to get better sleep. So we can complain because the rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. And that's Abraham Lincoln. He was a powerful speaker, an incredible man, of course. And these are some good takeaways on this section. So I want to just do a little bit here on emotional intelligence. I do whole training sessions on using emotional intelligence to communicate more effectively, more powerfully, to build better relationships. Sometimes I go out to audiences and they don't know what it means. So I'm not sure how many of you know what emotional intelligence is, but I'll just give you a quick definition. It's the ability to identify, use, understand, and manage emotions in a positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. That's a lot. So emotional intelligence impacts many different aspects of your daily life, such as the way you behave and the way you interact with others. And improving your emotional intelligence, they used to say that IQ, your sort of technical brain power, look at the top of this picture of the iceberg, you see balance, performance, and decision making. That's sort of your technical IQ. And then EQ is everything underneath. Look how much more there is underneath the surface. They used to say IQ was fixed, whatever your intelligence, but recent research has proven that our brains are incredible. They're far more plastic than we thought, and we can actually increase IQ quite a bit. But EQ is huge. You can make huge strides even if you don't think you're very strong in that area. So it starts with self-awareness. So self-awareness, motivation, self-management, social skills, and empathy. And when you improve your emotional intelligence, you will improve your performance at work, your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, and absolutely, without a doubt, your success as a sales professional. This is huge. I teach different strategies, like the elephant in the room. How do you deal with a client who's rude to you? How do you deal with someone who's constantly changing meetings. It appears very disrespectful, and your instinct is to get angry or lash out. How do you deal with these situations where you're trying to close a deal and both sides are far apart, or it's getting stressful? So these take specific techniques that really work to improve success. As a short example here, in my business, I had the opportunity to bring on a new client. They were thinking of firing their existing vendor. They were very disappointed with the performance. The natural instinct is just to jump right in there, sign up with us. But instead, using my emotional intelligence training, I asked deep probing questions. What was missing? What was the problem? How long did you have this client? He ended up revealing the emotional pain he was experiencing because he didn't like to have to fire them. They'd been friends over many years, so it was stressful for him emotionally. So instead of jumping in and trying to get the business right away, I offered him a few suggestions to improve the relationship. I said I didn't want to start working in a partnership until he was ready, and that I wanted to wait a few weeks to make sure he was certain of his decision. Allowing this space, connecting emotionally with this potential client, and establishing expectations on our part. We are this type of organization, here's what we expect, allowed me to build a far better relationship. He ended up coming back to me and saying, you know what, I'm ready. I appreciate you giving me that time, and I'm ready to move forward with your organization. And it's been an exceptional exclusive partnership. So that's just a short example for me. So I can go through this in more detail: conflict resolution, improving immunity, allowing yourself. Now, people think emotional intelligence is kind of soft and, it's very strong. It's being honest, it's expressing how you feel, it's communicating effectively, it's being a strong leader, it's incorporating others and empathizing. Even if you don't agree with the behavior, we need to connect with the emotion the other person is feeling. And that alone takes practice. And with practice, amazing things happen. So that's just a little bit on emotional intelligence. I want you to think now, just to reinforce this, and I can do more training later, and I cover this as well in my course for sales professionals. But think of a person who's had an amazing impact on your life. What were their qualities? Just think of it for a few seconds. Were they patient, encouraging, supportive, good listener? All of these things are the soft skills. They're the emotional intelligence skills. When we think of people and leaders, we don't think of things like they know how to use that that technology, or they read a lot of books. We think of the soft skills, and that's really emotional intelligence. So and whatever you thought of, whatever soft skill you thought of, whatever the person, how they influence, try to improve that yourself. That's my challenge for you today. So next, I want to talk about attraction marketing and growing our success as sales professionals using a different model of drawing people towards us in a way that's very attractive. Now, people have heard about the law of attraction and attraction marketing. I talk about attraction leadership in my course. First of all, to give you a quick definition of attraction marketing, if you're not aware of it. So attraction marketing is the use of marketing techniques specifically designed to teach the customer what you're doing and how a service or product will benefit them before they purchase it in a non-aggressive, non-threatening way. So this is a shift from the old sales cycle, the predator-prey model, where we used to hunt down our clients and they were kind of running away from us, and most people don't want to be sold under high pressure. So this is really the kind of the business norm. And whatever you do, whether you're working for a large company, you're an entrepreneur on your own, you're selling a product or a service, I think you need to keep in mind this great quote. So brand is not what you tell your customers. Brand is what your customers tell their friends. And that was Rachel Sklar, who I think coined that initially, which I think is really applicable to us as sales professionals. So growing your sales, of course, you always need to plan and goal setting. I'm a huge believer in goal setting. And then follow the plan, of course. But you do need to adapt. It's like setting your sail and sailing out. You see your destination of success at the other side, but storms come up, or there's a obstacle you need to go around. So you need to adapt. Keep what works, drop what doesn't, and always be learning. This learning is so vital for us as human beings, and it's a very attractive quality and helps to energize us. So make a commitment towards your success, whatever your goal is this year as a sales professional, and work towards it, but adapt. And of course, manage your time, your energy, and your focus. And I've been told, and it could be my training as an athlete or a martial artist, is that I have the ability to have a huge focus. A lot of it is self-taught, this real strong focus, is so that you don't have to work so many hours. When you don't have to work those long hours, you have more energy, more time with your loved ones, and that helps to re-energize you. You see, it's all this incredible cycle of developing these great habits. And when you can outsource to grow, whether you're an individual or with an organization, that's very helpful. So of course, attracting new clients, it's very powerful to ask your existing clients for referrals. It's much easier doing speaking engagements. In my business, we're a talent solutions company. We started off in executive search in a number of key verticals, including technology, engineering, and healthcare. And we ended up expanding into other services as I noticed the burnout in the workplace. So we developed a outplacement program, and we're nominated for a Toronto Business Leader Award for it. It's excellent. I have a great team there. And then now we do corporate coaching as well, and performance coaching. And I find the work very fulfilling. I'm building into areas where I have deep interest and passion and expertise. So you can, if you are an entrepreneur, you can build other services and revenue streams into your business connected to areas of passion or areas of need. So write for publications and get involved with associations and offer free educational seminars. A huge part of the attraction marketing model is teaching clients, working instead of selling to teaching. And that's part of the whole attraction marketing cycle. So let's just talk about some of the quick keys. The law of reciprocity, I don't know how many have heard to that, but it's so true, give to get. And I've had long-term client relationships. A lot of it is just building those great relationships, being generous with your time, acknowledging things like their birthdays or getting to know their families, building success where, you have lunches together, things like that, offering them helpful information on their industry. If you can build trust in any way, have these clients, prospects on a list, and you're offering value and touches without asking for business, that is a huge plus in that whole business sales cycle. Creating a niche for entrepreneurs is also quite helpful, and a lot of people talk about that, or several niches. And of course, leveraging social media, particularly with the younger millennials. And there is a lot of studies on, when you're dealing with a millennial, communicating via text or social media is kind of the norm. If you're dealing with us old school, I've been in business a long time, prefer an actual phone call or an in-person meeting. So different generational groups have different ways of communicating, and that's another thing that I talk about in the emotional intelligence module. So deliver consistent results, and obviously right now the attraction marketing model really reduces risk, so non-threatening, low risk solutions. And when you're dealing with customers, a lot of sales professionals talk too much. They sell, don't oversell. Listen, learn how to listen effectively, ask deep probing questions, focus on the customer's pain point. What's the problem and what pain is it causing? And what's the emotional impact? Because the real truth is people buy emotionally. They do not buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion. So you must connect with your potential customers emotionally. Here's an example of a social media alert that we did for a couple of roles. So we generate these on Facebook and Instagram, things like that, just as an FYI. So finally, targeting your best clients, networking. I'm a really big believer in partnerships, and I use them now for my training programs. I have a lot of affiliates internationally selling our THS course, and I do partnerships within the executive search world as well. And I have a partner for our corporate training, someone who has great deep expertise and certifications, so that we have the best solutions offered to our clients everywhere. So certainly if you're interested, you can reach out. One of the things I've started on LinkedIn is a group called the Thrive Hub. I'm really excited. We have a huge a group of incredible professionals around the world. So feel free to join us on LinkedIn, Thrive Hub. You can look it up. If you want to learn more about me, you can look at my global site, Global Consulting Group, for any sales or career tips. And my personal speaking and training site is tishconlin.com. I've packaged together an online course for sales professionals that gets a lot of great feedback, covers in depth a lot of the areas I spoke about with videos, audio, and training handouts, and my book on energy, movement, a lot about stress. Fourth module is all about focus, getting in the zone. Fifth one's about emotional intelligence and communication, how you get more repeat business and role playing, and finally, how to be more attractive leader. And certainly, if you're interested, you can go to my website. So here's a little bit of the information. Thrive Hub on LinkedIn. Just for participating today at CPSA, I'm offering a discount on my sales professional course. You can write down Tish off 20, get 20% off the online course. If you want to learn more about any of our other services, you can reach me at tish@tishconlin.com, or you can email me as well at patricia@globalconsultinggroup.ca. That's the book, certainly available on Amazon. It does come with a course as well as an ebook. And I wanted to leave you with this quote: start by doing what's necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. It's incredible what can happen when you take action. Small incremental improvements in all areas greatly impact your success. And certainly I've gone through many of these cycles myself as a sales professional, and have found the best ways to build successfully are in focusing on incremental improvements each and every day. You want to upgrade your hard skills as well as your soft skills, both for greater success. So with that, I will open it up for some questions, and I see if there's anything. Rupalin, do you have any questions from the group?
We have a couple that have come in. Thank you so much for everybody who has contributed to our Q&A session. We do have someone who asked what the significance was of the zebra on your marketing technique slide.
Pardon me?
What is the significance of the zebra that you placed on your marketing technique slide?
Oh, okay, yes, great question. One of the things that we talk about is finding your niche. And when I'm training, is finding your zebra. So finding that thing that's really exclusive about you. So it's a training program on the attraction marketing. For example, with our group, we started doing just technology recruitment, very broad. Then we narrowed it down to ERP, and then within ERP, we became a worldwide leader in Workday recruitment. So whether you're if you're an entrepreneur, and I deal with small business sales professionals and large, if you can, create this great niche where you are the go-to expert, that really can help with your success. So that's just a symbol of becoming, getting into a niche. And then also the zebra is the animal that everyone likes to hunt down. So that's like the predator-prey model, and we really want to move to the model where we're educating in a non-threatening way, building partnerships, and having our customers come to us because we have the best solution for them, but they enjoy, they want to work with us. So that's what you want to get to the point where people just love working with you and they're coming to you. So that's the twofold symbolism on that one.
Amazing. I have another question here. What are some exercises or techniques that you can suggest to energize myself before a big pitch?
Oh, okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna give you a number of things. So, and one of the things I've done, so first of all, get a good sleep the night before. If you have difficulty sleeping, send me an email and I'll give you my whole sheet on tips. I've worked with a lot of people and got them in sleeping well. So get a good night's sleep, create an environment in your house where you can sleep and get up early. I want you to practice getting yourself centered. People think, oh, meditation. Some people, it's becoming very mainstream, mindfulness, but some people still think, what is it? I don't know. But just get yourself focused. Out in your mind, visualize it going well. Think of the positive outcomes you want to achieve, write them down, and then look at yourself in the mirror and smile. Just say, I've got this. You want to stand up, put your shoulders back when you're going to the office. Don't slouch. This is like you're not letting your body go into that self-doubt mode. So be confident, fake it till you make it. Be confident. If you can exercise in the morning, this doesn't have to be a hard run. Even just get outside and walk around or do some gardening. Just get out and get some fresh air, get more oxygen in your lungs. Before the call, stand up. Get yourself in that positive mindset. Make sure you're hydrated. Coffee can be quite dehydrating, so you need to compensate by having other fluids. So get yourself hydrated, as we've talked about, that boosts performance, and then focus on a positive outcome. Make sure you slow your breathing. Make sure you articulate when you're speaking. Some people, when they're nervous, speak way too fast. And make sure you start with a really powerful question. You can think about this in advance, and that allows the client to speak. Now, if you're doing a presentation, obviously you have to speak more, but make sure you start with getting them engaged. Get them speaking initially, even if you're developing rapport or talking about the weather, but build that rapport. Try to connect with them emotionally before it starts. Do a great job of your presentation, and then ask some powerful questions afterwards. Those are some quick tips for you. Good luck with it.
We have a couple others. So the next one's a little bit more of an opinion question, but what is most important? Having charisma and knowing how to sell, or knowing your product in detail and the company that you're selling to or your competition?
Oh, that's another great question. I'll tell you, and I honestly believe this, you need both. Because if you have the hard skills without the soft skills, you'll only go so far. And there's some great books if anyone's interested. I'm a prolific reader. Dan Goleman talks about focus, getting in the zone, but he's also the one who coined the term, or at least he really made it mainstream, emotional intelligence. So you can really only get so far in the hard skills, because you're going to come across situations that push your buttons and trigger you, and then you're not going to be able to deal with them effectively. So you really need to work on both. That's why I put in my last module of my course for sales professionals is a whole person course on success. And it wasn't enough for me to become a registered holistic nutritionist. I realized it's not just your physical energy that creates charisma. It's also the way you manage your emotions and the way you manage your mental outlook as well. So I think you really need to work on both. Some of the health things that I talk about today help you to manage your stress so you can be more charismatic. People are drawn to leaders with high energy, and there are some tips to improving your leadership. Just quickly, I'll just give you a few things that might be helpful, because you need both your hard skills and your soft skills. So, just becoming more approachable, keeping your door open and listening to people, showing them you genuinely care, and that goes for clients through the ups and downs, exuding confidence even in tough situations. Here's another thing, and believe me, it works, is be honest. Don't be afraid to deliver the hard goods. Set expectations with clients. They respect that, and I do it all the time. Even taking responsibility for your actions if you've been off, or you didn't handle a situation as well as you could. You had some other stresses at home. We're all human. Own it. People really respect that, and it creates charisma, and will help you to build both the hard and soft skills to be truly successful. I could go on and on in that, but yeah, I talk about it more. But, I've seen huge, remarkable changes in people's lives and performance by becoming a more attractive leader. And I do have some good quotes on that. So let him who would move the world first move himself. That's Socrates. So just gives you an idea. You really, really want to work on both skills, and you'll feel better. You'll have more energy in your life and in your personal life too.
I think the next one is a good question because it asks how to deal with conflict. Any tips on dealing with internal coworkers who are somewhat stubborn to speak to and condescending?
Oh yes, and believe me, I do a whole workshop on emotional intelligence, and I remember I was presenting for a large technology association, and the presentation ran over almost an hour. This was in person, and they had the room packed because there is more and more conflict in our worlds today. I mean, you think of things like decades ago, people stayed at the same job for 20 years. You took time to get to know people. Now there's so many changes. There's more stresses, so there is more conflict. I'll tell you an important tip right now about, and I mean, obviously, this is a whole module in itself, but difficult people, they are, the tendency is to get angry but everybody's emotional. Everyone has emotional needs, and everyone longs to connect emotionally. And when you can connect with someone emotionally, even when their behavior is bad, you're moving towards a better relationship. Doesn't mean you condone their behavior or you enjoy their company, but it's already a step forward. I'll call her just as an analogy. Debbie Downer comes to work today. She's always complaining, and it's like, oh, here comes Debbie. I'm gonna want to avoid her. And most people do, or they'll say, would you stop complaining, things like that to her. A response that would improve the relationship would be, for example, hi Debbie, I noticed that you seem to be frustrated, down, discouraged, and whatever the emotion is. Label the emotion, and then you could make a positive, proactive suggestion, like, you may want to talk to HR about, maybe it would be helpful for you to talk to HR, blah, blah, blah. Acknowledge the emotion, set a boundary for yourself. I'm doing this project. It's very exciting. I'm hoping that you'll get energized and excited. Maybe HR will be helpful for you. Separate, because all that negative energy can be draining, and move on. But start by acknowledging the emotion. A difficult client, you could acknowledge, dear, Mr. Client, I noticed in our meeting you seem distracted, irritated, angry, grumpy. If there is something else that you need to attend to, we could always reschedule this meeting. I've had that happen, sort of the elephant in the room syndrome. And then they say, yes, well, blah, blah, this happened. And I say, you know what, let's shut down now. I know I don't have your full attention. And, this is obviously more important to you, showing the respect for them, but also respecting yourself. You don't want to be doing a presentation if someone's not paying attention, and then separate and start over. Dealing with conflict, sometimes you can solve it and sometimes you can't. You'll have to walk away. There's a lot of different conflict resolving techniques, learning how to listen. Always want to go for a win-win when you're negotiating conflict, and learning when to walk away. But it's a whole workshop, very powerful. Hopefully there's just a few quick tips there, and I can do more work on this too.
I think we have time for a couple more questions. Are you okay with that, Patricia?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Amazing.
My pleasure. Yep, my pleasure.
So the next one here is, are there any techniques that you suggest for decompressing after a stressful call, like after a negotiation or after an objection?
Yes. Really, it's really powerful to debrief. And this is something I've trained myself to do, and it does take time. I put a lot of pressure on myself as a sales professional, and if something doesn't work out, the tendency is to get really down and discouraged, and I understand that. So what you need to shift to is sit down, get yourself away from that emotional mindset. You can acknowledge all these emotions, but you want to get yourself in this objective mindset. Okay, you could even write it down. What went wrong, and then what went right. Where are we at now? What's the situation? What could I do to improve it? What would be the action steps? And then if you're really stressed out, you could go, okay, what's the worst case scenario, and can I accept that? And, what could I do to avoid the worst case scenario? And then you can say, what's the best case scenario if I do these action steps? It helps you to create this calmer mindset and a plan. And I'm really a big believer on learning from our so-called failures. I mean, and I don't even like the word failure. As long as you're out there giving it a shot, you're winning the game. It's just like, our Raptors. I mean, you don't get every basket. You got to take a lot of shots. Some of them won't work. So decompressing after a meeting or a pitch or whatever, and if it didn't go well, or you have a really demanding client, what you want to do if a person is very aggressive with you as well, speak less. You want to listen to them, and particularly if you're nervous, listen to them. You even write down some questions. Don't respond if they're pushing you, pressuring you for a discount or something. Say, that's interesting. Let me write that down. Let me talk to my boss, or let me take that away, talk to my team or whatever, and just write it all down. So you don't want to be responding in high stress situations either, because you want to think it through. What's the best outcome? I mean, discounting sometimes is good, but not always. And it's all situationally based. So take time to think about it afterwards. Don't respond immediately. Write down the best and the worst outcomes and make sure you're okay with that. Make sure you have this mindset where as long as you're making the effort, it's okay, so you don't beat yourself up. Be proactive for next steps and set expectations, particularly if someone is demanding. I like to talk about, why we have long-term clients, what our clients say about us. Again, that's that branding. It's not what you say, it's what clients say. And then expectations on both sides for a strong relationship. You want to have confidence in yourself, your service, or your product in order to establish a good partnership. And I have fired clients, and I do advocate if it's a really, really demanding client, it's kind of a lose situation. Eventually, you want to release them and open yourself up for better relationships. Anything else?
We've got one last question here.
Sure.
Thank you for this great topic, first of all. How can a sales professional survive financial stress? This could also affect work performance.
You know what? And another great question. And that's why I really believe in the whole person. You got to have your mental health in order, your emotional health, your physical health, and your financial health. And then this life purpose is so vital, whether people call it spiritual or life purpose or passion. All these things are so important. And financial health is vital. I mean, make sure, like everything else, like food, you're not overspending. Get yourself more disciplined with your finances. A lot of people get themselves into these financial ruts too. So start off, if you're a commission-based salesperson, I've been 100% commission my entire sales career. When you have these low cycles, make sure you're not spending so much. Make sure you're saving more. You want to save for a rainy day. Now, I have gone through several severe recessions. I've also had to work when I'm dealing with severe challenges with loved ones, health challenges, which is why I'm passionate about helping other people prevent chronic illness and long-term illness, because you start with better habits everywhere. Financial health, when things aren't going so well, reduce your expenditures. Make sure you nurture this abundant mindset too. I have a sheet. If you subscribe, again, to tishconlin.com, then email me and I'll send you this vision board to help you get in this positive mindset about money, get you visualizing and getting you in this abundant mindset, and writing down your goals. Where do you want to go? Where are you today? And how do you want to get there? And how are you going to overcome the obstacles? So it is stressful. You want to acknowledge the stresses, like Hans Seeley said. He's one of the pioneers of stress management theory. You got to learn to reframe a situation. So, do you have food? Do you have a roof? How are you focus on the positive areas and then build where you can. Some people who are entrepreneurs and they're just not getting the income level, take on a second job, turn your main business into your side hustle until it becomes more successful. And then your side hustle can be your main business. For me, I've incorporated a model like Warren Buffett, who talks about you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, of multiple revenue streams in my business. So when there's a recession and people aren't hiring as much, they're doing more outplacement, they're doing more coaching and training. So covering multiple revenue streams is actually more easy to do than you think.
And now I have about seven or 10 different areas where our company Global Consulting Group can add value on the talent side of the business, and I personally can pursue my passion as a speaker on these important soft skill topics. So just realize that tomorrow can be a better day for finance. Keep thinking about the positive. A lot of people get themselves in these ruts, and then they get more and more discouraged, and it perpetuates the negative terms of a financial health. So believe it's possible to get out of it, and that you work on your soft skills and your hard skills to get the next deal so you can improve your financial health. Hopefully that helps.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Patricia. You've answered all of our questions from the Q&A today, so thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much for having me, and I wish everyone, huge success in the next little while. Hopefully, everyone has a fantastic weekend. Feel free to reach out. I have a lot of people joining this Thrive Hub, and amazing individuals posting everything from cryptocurrency to leadership tips. A great group. So feel free to request to join, and I'd be happy to accept your invite you over there, and check out tishconlin.com for speaking or training, and just reach out anytime. I'd love to help out.
Amazing. So on behalf of the CPSA, thank you so much, Patricia, and to our sponsors, Avis and Budget. Thanks so much for our audience for attending today. Just to let everybody know, if you would like a recording of the webinar, the link will be available and sent to you shortly after this webinar. And if you have any questions about this webinar, please feel free to email Patricia or myself at salessuccess@cpsa.com, and we'll get back to you with an answer. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye now.